What is good, ladies and gentlemen? We're back. Another episode of the Combat BS podcast. I'm your host, BS. We're going to dive right into all the BS last night. What an incredible fight night that was. Well, the main card. The prelims could have used some work, but we're not going to be mad at it. It's just it is what it is. The UFC always tries to put on a good show, especially when they're in the United States in a city. They bring characters, guys like Derek Lewis headline all the time. Last night was no different. We get Sean Strickland and Anthony Fluffy Hernandez. You know the results. Let's go from it. Let's go top down because I mean everybody's here for Sean Strickland. Um, yeah, let's just jump right into it. Sean Strickland put on an absolute masterclass in this fight. Um, I if you follow along weekly or every episode, like I picked Sean Strickland to win this fight in the betting segment. I said Anthony Fluffy Hernandez, if the odds were even, I would take him. I could not have been more wrong in that way. I was right in my pick though. Sean Strickland is a master of distance. DDP was convincing me even more the day before the fight, or like the hours before the fight, that Sean Strickland was going to win. He said, "You don't understand the distance control Sean has until you're in there with him." And I was like, "Yeah, what do you mean?" And then you really get to thinking about it. You're like, "Yeah, you're right. Who has beat him? Like, actually beat Sean Strickland badly?" And it's Alex Pereira and it's DDP in one of the two times they fought. And those two guys are elite kickboxers. So, like, it's not shocking to me that Sean was able to control the distance. The teeps were on the money. The jab was on the money all night. Round one, because of that slip, that weird situation, you could have maybe seen the judges giving it to Fluffy, but I had it for Strickland. I see most people had it for Strickland. Round two was Strickland clear as day, and round three was just a masterclass. Strickland puts it on, push pressure on him. Fluffy kind of gets caught in the in between range for a second. Strickland throws that knee up the middle, lands flush on like kind of like right on the bottom of the sternum, which really knocks the wind out of you. And Fluffy did not react well. He backed up, kind of smiled, and he kind of knew it was going to be tough to come back from. Sean Strickland landed a couple bombs. Fluffy smiled again, and then Sean Strickland unloaded the tank and then got Fluffy out of there. And I mean, what a fight! And really was nice to see Sean kind of say, "Hey, we had some words at the press conference. Respect to you. You're a married man. You're a father. You're a great guy. All the respect." Like that is what we like to see in this sport. Um, Strickland calling it for a title shot. Imavov, sorry, brother. I think they should give it to Strickland. I don't think that he has a chance of competing with Hamza personally, even after a performance like this. But Strickland is just a character. He brings eyes to the sport, even if it's not always positive. He has the beef with Hamza. He has a win over Imavov. There's just too much on Strickland's side for them to want to give the fight to Imavov. So Sean Strickland for the title next, in my opinion. Ideally, like, August again, because it doesn't seem like Hamzat's in a hurry to get back. And I don't think they're going to put him on the White House card. Anyway, moving along. Uros Medic. I was saying I heard he was the Terrence McKinney of the welterweight division. I think this is more about Jeff Neal's chin than it is Uros Medic, but Uros Medic is a wild man. Calls out Leon Rocky Edwards in Serbia this summer. Like I was saying, he might call out somebody for Serbia if he wins. Crazy, crazy, crazy outcome. I mean, Uros Medic hit him with a left hand, and or maybe it was a right. It was a hook. I don't remember which one it was. Sent him like kind of back. Like Jeff Neal instantly like backpedaled across the whole cage, tried to like swing back to get him off him, and Uros just stayed calm in the pocket and lands a left hand over the top, right on the temple. Beautiful shot. Puts Jeff Neal out badly, and Jeff Neal didn't know what happened. He's shaking the hand of the referee and saying, "What happened?" The ref's just like, "You just got caught." Unfortunate. Sucks to see guys like that as they're starting to get towards the end of their career. They get KO'd once and they don't want to believe that's a normal thing, and it just stacks if you don't take time off. So unfortunate. It might be getting close to time for Jeff Neal to call it. I would take a year off if I was him, and then take a fight with a guy outside of the rankings and just try to get a win under my belt and maybe call it a career here pretty soon because he's getting up there. Anyway, moving along. Featherweight. Melky Kaizel, the Dalmatian Costa versus Dan Ige. I picked the fight before this, by the way. I picked Jeff Neal and Uros Medic to end by KO. So I hit that. I didn't bet on it, but that was my pick on the show if you watched. My pick in this fight was Costa. I said I wasn't confident enough to bet it. I should have been. Costa lands a crazy spinning back kick right to like the orbital and slid down to the jaw like perfectly on Dan Ige. Dan Ige goes back, and I mean, he's laying there and getting like swung on. He's covering all the shots, but in reality, that eyes swell up immediately right after, before they were even doing the official like decision thing with the ref between them. His eye was already swelled shut, and there's no way he was going to survive. Just a crazy performance from Melka Gazelle. Um, yeah, the dude just keeps winning. I want to see him get a fight with a guy around the level of a Steve Urseg, maybe. Or sorry, Steve Urseg. Steve Garcia. My apologies. Um, the featherweight rankings are just they're super fun. We got he's gonna be here on Tuesday. So maybe you give him a guy like I know I know Emmett is fighting somebody else. I know Brian Ortega's out of the weight class. Arnold Allen just lost. Maybe you give Steve Garcia Arnold Allen, or maybe you give Mocasel Costa Arnold Allen. That would be those two fights would be super fun. Anyway, moving along. My pick in this fight was Deontay Dalia. Spivak absolutely showed he is growing on the feet. That jab was on point all night. He was tough. I said he wasn't tough enough at the heavyweight division against guys that aren't fat. Spivak proved me wrong, made me eat my words, and ultimately cost me one of my only parlay. And I still hit straight on Strickland and went positive on the night, but I was a third round from Delia away from winning both bets and being up big. So unfortunate. Delia just couldn't pull it out. Beautiful second round from him. Beautiful fight in general from Spivak. Great fight. Anyway, moving along. Jacoby Smith, Josiah Harrell. This was kind of scary. I have a lot to say here, I think. Josiah Harrell is a guy coming fresh off a brain issue. Not fresh off. He had 3 fights, I think, since then. But Jacoby Smith is a dangerous dude. Josiah Harrell gets him in an awkward position, takes him down. Jacoby Smith instantly rolls on top and kind of establishes a crossface forearm, and it instantly starts hammer fisting. Josiah Harrell's out by the second or third shot. And Kerry Hatley's standing there, kind of like almost like indecisively deciding if he should stop the fight in real time. Boom, boom, boom. He's kind of deciding. Then he tries to get in there, but he's not like pushing Jacoby Smith off him when he's hammering the dude's head out cold multiple times. He just kind of sticks his arm in there and tries to get in the way. And Jacoby Smith it's his job to hit the guy. And yeah, he did swing once or twice after the ref had already touched him. But dude, like, you got to get in there if you're the ref. I know refereeing is a very difficult job, and we only talk about their negative side, but like, you can't let a dude eat 7 unanswered hammer fists to the head unconscious. You got to get in there, push Jacoby Smith off, grab Jacoby Smith's arms, wrap him up. Like Herb Dean puts his body between people. He steps in and shoves them off and like starts waving over his head as he's yelling, "Stop, stop, stop." And they stop. Herb Dean is late sometimes. Yes, like I'm not saying he's perfect, but the way he does it, Kerry Hatley needs to be doing that because he had a fight a few years ago in Austin between Bobby Green at the time, King Green, and Jalen Turner. And Jalen Turner knocks Bobby Green out bad and lands, I think it was 17 or 19. I looked it up. Somewhere between 17 and 19 unanswered strikes. Well, he's out cold. And Kerry Hatley's standing there in that one too, kind of like, maybe, should I? Let's get in there. Save these dudes. You can't let dudes just eat constant damaging shots to their head. And I know that like that job's hard. My girlfriend's a wrestling referee. I know referees don't have it easy. She gets picked on all the time at her events, and she does. And that job's probably easier in wrestling than it is in MMA because these are dudes' actual like life and death in some scenarios. So it sucks, dude. But like that job is the job you chose. You gotta know how to get that guy off him quick. So that's all I have to say on that. It's just unfortunate. Jacoby Smith with an awesome win, big knockout. Hopefully he gets a guy up kind of like near the rankings next. He's an impressive wrestler, a great fighter. I just can't overlook the Carrie Hatley side of that. Anyway, Zach Reese and Michelle Pereira. This fight was one of those fights I didn't really know who should have won. I mean, if you look at the numbers, like it's pretty similar, pretty similar, pretty similar, pretty similar. Like I personally, in real time, Zach Reese is who I thought won the fight, but it was like there was a lot more damage on Zach Reese than there was on Michelle Pereira. So I don't hate giving it to Pereira. I think it was just a very, very like not a high amount of skill was shown. I'll put it that way. There was no like establishing the basics, no jab, no feel out process. It's just a lot of big right hands, a lot of big knees, a lot of big kicks, like all like one at a time. Not trying to push the issue, and that's fine. It's just not high level fighting. I'll put it that way. Kennedy and Zechku, Carlos Leal. Um, there was a point in this fight. I'll just say this where Herb Dean. No, I'm sorry, not Herb Dean. What's his name? Dean Smith. Is that his name? Who's the coach that comes in? You know what I'm talking about. Coach that comes in on the broadcast, um, comes in and says, "How about Nzechukwu develops a jab? He's so much bigger than Liao, longer. Liao's just pressuring him in his face the whole time." And Chitty and Nzechukwu just didn't really show off any sense of it. Chitty Njokuani. What am I saying right now? I'm just thinking of uh Kennedy and Nzechukwu. Chitty Njokuani, sorry, is eating like just not throwing jabs. He's just throwing leg kicks in close and trying to just frame off all the shots. But if he just established a jab in the second or first round, I feel like he could have finished Carlos Leal. But Carlos was just a walking zombie because you didn't beat him up with anything else, soften him up before you land the big shots. Anyway, moving along. Ode Osborne, Alabai, I can't remember how to pronounce this guy's name. I don't care. This fight was so beyond boring. Just a lot of grappling, a lot of being able to control Ode Osborne. Don't really care. Moving along, honestly. Alden Coria, this dude had an impressive. He was showed out the whole time. Just all the transitions, all the groundwork, all the on the feet stuff. He was a step ahead of Luis the whole time. I want to see this guy continue to move up the rankings and get higher skilled fights. This fight was a lot of fun to watch. Cornell versus Jocelyn Edwards ended in a crazy way. Round one, Cornell won. Round one. Jocelyn Edwards kind of couldn't get to the game plan she wanted. And then Jocelyn Edwards gets into the clinch in the second round and slams her in an awkward spot where she lands right on her shoulder with the arm being pinned so she can't brace with it, like at all with the elbow or anything, and snaps her collarbone. You could hear it loud on the broadcast. It like right away. You could tell she broke something. She seemed kind of hurt pretty bad. The ref just let her eat hammer fist and stop it. This one was kind of sloppy too. Jocelyn hops on a choke and then Nora taps. So good performance by Jocelyn Edwards in the second round. The first round was a little sloppy. We'll see who she gets next up the rankings in the women's bantamweight division, but should be fun. Brahimaj versus Soriano was kind of just a back and forth striking fight. Not a whole lot of entertainment. Just a really close striking fight. So congrats to Soriano. I don't have much else to say. Phil Rowe, John Paul Lobesnoyani. Lobesnoyani. I can't remember how they pronounced it on the broadcast. I couldn't pronounce it there today. My prediction for this fight was Phil Rowe by KO, or like winning the second, third round decision. Phil Rowe corner was yelling at him to start unloading the tank because he had this guy not gassed, but the dude was like 80% the rest of the fight after the first round of himself and wasn't going to be able to put Phil Rowe out. And Phil's just sitting there, like, kind of in the pocket, like in striking range, not really overcommitting to anything, getting out of the way of everything. Like, it's like, dude, commit. His coach, right before the third round, goes, "If we got to carry you out of here, so be it." And Phil Rowe just never answered to that until like 8 seconds left in the fight starts throwing. It's like, okay, well, what's the point? So I felt like that prediction could have been right. Feels like Phil just didn't take any chances, and Jean Paul wins that decision. I don't think he's gonna move up very high up the welterweight rankings. I'll put it that way. He's not that. Didn't seem all that. Jordan Levitt with a very boring grappling fight. Yadier Del Valle definitely won the last fight by Isaac Bulgarian throwing that fight. I think this fight is all the proof the FBI needs to arrest Isaac Bulgarian. Kind of a piss poor fight from Yadier Del Valle. Women's flyweight, Carly Judice versus Juliana Miller. I had Carly Judice minus 3.5. She covered just barely. 29-28, 29-28, and then 30-27 gets me over the finish line there. But I personally thought it was 29-28 across the board. Should have been anyway. So I got lucky there. Didn't matter anyway because Delio was the other leg. Juliana Miller hung tough. Not a super skilled fighter, but very tough. Entertaining fight to watch overall. She almost had a submission in round 3. Something Carly can learn from and continue to move up the rankings because she's a lot of fun to watch striking wise. Anyway, that's kind of all my thoughts on the UFC Houston card. I just wanted to get this out there. I will be back very soon to talk about UFC Mexico City. But that should be later in the week. I'll talk to you guys soon. Hit me up in the comments. Let me know what you thought of the card. Let me know what you think should get the title shot at 185. And we'll go from there. So thanks everybody for tuning in. Appreciate you guys. And have a good one.